Alright, so back again with another drift build video on Forza Motorsport 7. Um, Today we're going to be doing a 2018 RTR Mustang. So let's get right into it. I'm not using any of the Formula Drift ones because I don't like the feel of it. We're just using the normal RTR Mustang. So for the upgrades, got the stock engine, rear wheel drive for the drivetrain, and I do have a supercharger in this. Aero is totally up to you. I don't run anything. For the tire compound, I'm using sports. For the front tire width, I'm using stock 285s. For the rear, I'm using 315s. For the rim style, use whatever you want, doesn't necessarily matter. Race clutch, race transmission, race driveline, and race diff. Race brakes, drift springs, full roll cage, and full weight reduction. Race intake, sport fuel system, stock ignition, race exhaust, stock cams, sport valves, street engine block for your displacement, race supercharger, stock cooling, and sport oil and cooling. And for the flywheel, we are using race. Sport. Alright, there is no race. That's funny. As for the tune, this is where it gets kind of weird. I've finally dialed in tunes for this game. I think this is going to be the one that I'm sticking with for a long time with minor adjustments to make it just a little bit better. But I'll try and explain why I do what I do. So for the front tire pressure, I'm using 38.5. Reason being, I use -5 camber in the front. And since there's no like tire stretching in this game, your tires are always flat with the ground, but if you have more tire pressure, it'll make like a rounded tire a little bit. Just gives, it makes it feel better. And for the rear, we're using 15. I like speed, I like grip. So, on to gearing. I only have a 6-speed shifter, so I don't need to use 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. But for final drive, it's at 3.1. First gear is at 3.02. Second is at 2.16. Third is at 1.72. Fourth is 1.49. Fifth is 1.34. And sixth is 1.19. And if you look at my cursor, the way I do my gears is you can see it's kind of like an arc. It's not just like a straight line or anything like that. What I like doing is, if you can see on the grid, your gear length, I kind of have it almost at the top of the line that it's supposed to be in for your speed. And I usually drift third and fourth and fifth in some cases depending on the track. But I feel this gives a great power band and you're not bogging down or hitting your rev limiter too much. So I always keep a little bit past the line. Usually it gives you an average of what your speed will be down here. And I always have third on this middle speed indicator or whatever you want to call it. and then just do the same for the rest of the gears. For my sixth gear, I always do it longer, which is why it creates kind of an arc, just in case I'm on like Bernese Alps or something like that and I need to go into sixth. But for alignment, for the front, we're at -5 camber. For the rear, I'm running 0. For the toe, I'm not using any toe on the front. On the rear, I'm using positive 0.4. Caster angle is at 7, and my degrees are at 60. Reason why I do this, I like a responsive front end. It just, in my opinion, makes the car feel really good, and it corresponds with the tire pressure, like I said before. I don't run any camber in the rear, just for grip. I did used to run positive camber, yeah. I'm trying to remember. I did use positive camber in the rear on some of my cars, but it kind of made it too fishtaily. So, yeah, that's my alignment setup. For my roll bars, this is pretty standard. 25.2 in the front and 19.1 in the rear. I usually like to keep it between 20 and 30 for the front and 15 and 20 in the rear. But I've been rocking this on like my average builds, and it's pretty good. For springs, I do run softer springs just to get that squat. So for the front, 449.5. For the rear, 261.2. Ride height, I kind of leveled it out. I don't like having a rake on my car. It just makes it oversteer too much. With my springs, I like to keep it between 440 to 500 in the front, and in the rear between 250 and 300. Now, if you do happen to put this on other cars, this is like a universal tune, pretty much. If you find that your front end's really twitchy for some reason, when you raise the rear tire or the rear springs, it stables it out. So keep that in mind if you want to use this on other builds. For damping, I'm not the greatest at explaining damping, but we'll see how it goes. Front rebound, 8.8. Rear, 5.3. Bump stiffness, 6.1 and 2.1. This I usually never touch. I kind of found that this works well for almost every car. But the reason why I do this is, honestly, I'm not even going to make myself look stupid. I hardly know what this does. I know it's like how fast your car will, or your shocks will compress and stuff like that, but this is just what works for me. I'm not running any aero. For braking, it's up to you. This is what I use for all my cars, 53% towards the front and 115% for the pressure, and the diff is locked. Now I'll do a few runs for you on Suzuka, and that'll be it for this video. As you can see, even with cold tires, it is pretty stable. So I'll do a few more runs just to make them warm up a little bit. And you can keep this car at full lock. I'll try and do it on this entry. It's easy to pull back. But yeah. So that's pretty much full lock right there. And again. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. And I will have my Twitch and my Gamertag in the description in case any of you want to join in and have some fun. So thank you for watching, and I'll have more videos out soon.